Hello, third grade. This morning we're going on our next reading, so make sure you get your small reading book out. We're going to start on page 227. Looks like this, page 227. It says, Ideas from Nature. This week our essential question is, what ideas can we get from nature? This spider may be small, but it inspires big ideas. Its webs are super strong, and scientists want to know why. Scientists look to nature for new ideas. These ideas help people in many different ways. Now, this week we're going to study different animals and what they've inspired, what inventions they've inspired that we use all the time. So, for example, here you can see this picture of webbed feet here. See how it's the feet of a duck or a goose are webbed like that? Well, it helps them to swim. So when people make flippers, right, see how it kind of looks the same? Because it's inspired by the webbed feet of different water animals. So go ahead and put your name at the top. Then, where it says, what ideas can we get from nature? Go ahead and put nature in your circle in the middle. One of the things that you might put there is webbed feet of ducks. And I'm just going to put an arrow. They inspired flippers. If you've ever swam with flippers on, it makes it way easier. When I train for triathlons, those are races I do where you swim a portion, then you bike a portion, then you run a portion. When I train for the swim, I use those flippers a lot because it helps me build up the strength in my arms while my feet are able to move easier with those flippers on. It helps you move through the water. What other things in nature inspire new ideas? So think of something else that you've seen in nature. Maybe you want to think about, on this side, we saw the spider web. Okay, what does that web inspire? Well, spider webs have inspired, I'm just going to write that arrow again. Spider webs have inspired strong string. Those spider webs are very, very strong, and that technology, or that how God created them to be able to spin those webs, scientists can use some of those same ideas to create other really strong thread. Try to think of one more. When you're done, you can go ahead and flip it over. We've got our vocab words on the back. Our first vocab word is effective. The broom is an effective tool for sweeping up leaves and dirt. So if something's effective, that means it works well. So what would be an effective tool for cutting paper? Well, a good pair of scissors, right? That would be an effective tool for cutting paper. If you tried to cut cut paper with a paintbrush, that wouldn't work very well, right? So effective means something that works well. Next, example. The apple is a good example of a healthy fruit. You could draw an apple there if you wanted, or something. You could draw an example. You could draw a parent showing a child how to do something, being an example there. That would work too. Next, identical. Mark and Matt are identical twins because they look alike. So for identical, you might want to draw two things that look alike. Then we have imitate. This robot can imitate the way Cody moves. What does it mean to imitate something? Well, if you imitate something, you're copying it. Okay, so if you want to draw a robot there, you could draw a robot for imitate at the bottom. Then, material. The baby's blanket is made of soft, warm material. Describe the material that your shirt is made out of. Mine's kind of made out of a soft, cozy fabric, but whatever material it is, you could do there. Next word, model. Kevin and I play with my model airplane in the park. Why does it help to have a model, right? If you have a model, it helps you be able to build something else. So you could draw maybe a paper airplane, a model airplane there. Then next, observed. Meg and Joan observed the fish and wrote down what they saw. If you observe something, what does that mean? It means you're watching it. You're going to watch something. So maybe you could draw a pair of eyes there. You could draw glasses, right, if you're observing something. And then last we have similar. My dad and I look alike, so we wear similar shirts. Okay? Similar, it means you're going to do something that's very close to the same. Today, our story is called Bats Did It First. Our essential question is, what ideas can we get from nature? Okay, well, it starts on page 231. Nature is full of great ideas. Many inventors and scientists just step outside and look around for inspiration and ideas. They often imitate or copy what they see outdoors. They use nature to inspire their inventions. One amazing invention was inspired by bats. It's a special cane that helps blind people navigate and get around. Here you can see this boy is blind and he uses that special cane to help him get around. Canes lead the way. Many blind people use canes. They tap the canes on the ground in front of them to locate objects that may be in the way. This helps them move around safely as they do their shopping or walk outdoors. The bat-inspired cane is different from these canes. It sends out sound waves or signals. These signals are almost identical to the ones bats use to find their way in the dark. How bats get around. The scientist that came up with the idea for the new cane was inspired by watching bats. He observed the way bats fly at night. The bats make high-pitched sounds that people cannot hear. These sounds create an amazing navigation system for the bats. Here's how it works. Bats send sound waves out through their mouth or nose. These sound waves hit objects and then bounce back as an echo. The echo tells the bats how far away an object is and how big it is. This information helps bats find bugs to eat. It's also an effective way to keep bats from bumping into trees and other bats. This is an informational text, so sometimes we have those diagrams. Here's one such diagram. It says how bats use sound waves. There's the bat. You can see it giving off sound waves. When it hits the moth, that echo comes back to the bat. This diagram shows how a bat uses sound waves. First, the bat sends out sound waves. Then the waves hit the moth and bounce back to the bat as an echo. This tells the bat where and how close the moth is. Next page, 234. A batty idea. The scientist who invented the new cane took what he learned from observing bats. He used a similar idea. He started with an ordinary white cane. He wanted the cane to imitate the way bats use sound waves, so he sketched plans and made a model of his invention. When he built that cane, the scientist used a special material that was lightweight and strong. Then he added sound waves. Finally, a team of scientists tested this cane. It worked. How the cane works. The handle of the cane sends out signals. The signals bounce off objects in front of the cane. Then an echo bounces back to the cane's handle. The person holding it feels buttons on the handle vibrate or shake. These buttons tell the person how far away and how big the object is. Like you can see this mailbox here. The cane alerts the man that there's something in his way, so he can see that there's this mailbox here and he can't just walk straight through. Scientists and inventors study plants and animals all the time. Their observations have led them to invent many useful things. And like many new inventions, the bat-inspired cane is a good example of how great ideas can come from nature. There you can see a scientist studying how bats fly. We've got two questions about our text. First question said, how did bats inspire a cane that helps blind people? Think about the story that we just read. Number two kind of ties into our test on Friday. It says, what is something in nature that inspires you? What would you invent? Start thinking about that. Maybe sketch a preliminary idea right here, because this week for your test, you're going to have to come up with an invention inspired by nature. If you didn't come up with another idea here, feel free to put the bat one there, right? Bats inspired this cane that can help blind people, all right? When you're done, make sure this makes it in your Monday folder. Have a great rest of your day. Line 6 and 7 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So why not a vertical whirling winding bug that hops like a cricket crossing a rug? Okay, so he's comparing the helicopter to a cricket. All right, so for number 3, compares the helicopter to a cricket. Then in number 4, reread ornithopter. That was the second one. Use details to explain what the narrator thinks about the ornithopter. Do you agree with the narrator's point of view? Okay, so I want you to go back, reread the second poem, and explain what the author thinks about the ornithopter there.